everyone, and welcome to this month's New Earth's teachings with Ascended Master Lakeshma. So those of you who are not too familiar with Lakeshma, she's an Ascended Master from Atlantis, and she talks about the parallels between the first Great Awakening in Atlantis and what is occurring now on Earth in this time of Great Awakening, especially now with what is occurring in our environments with Gaia. We would say there are a lot of interesting things happening at the moment with our own evolution of consciousness. So we have Isabel joining us. Hi, Isabel.
Hello.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. And without further ado, I'll go now into trance and bring forth her for you. Hello, my D1. My D1s. This is the time of great expansion for the human race. Many of you are in fear in relation to the changes you are seeing on Gaia's planes. My D1s, you have asked for this. But you might question, how can you ask for such things in your perspective that seems so tragic in your eyes? But my D1s, this is a human experience, and all beings are playing this role to create further expansion, to create further remembrance on who you truly are as a collective and as a perceived individual. You are one with all that is. There is no separation. And we would say from the events that are unfolding that you are seeing, all is leading to you uniting as one race, as one projection of Source. For there are many, for you are all Source, and you are perfect, whole, and complete as a manifestation of Source. And so is Gaia, and so all are you and all Gaia's elements. All is perfect. You just do not see this from the human perspective because you are tied into the illusion of physical reality, and you are not meant to see the full picture here because you are still tapped into the human collective consciousness. And as such, you're still tapped into certain collective programming that is in the collective. In this time of great awakening, the programming that has held you in the state of duality consciousness in your remembrance is being transmuted further into the oneness remembrance of who you truly are, that you are Source. And this is what is occurring right now. Everyone that is involved with all these events you are seeing around the world was pre-planned before entering this life as a human being on Gaia. They're all playing the roles lovingly for you, for the collective intentions to rise together, to unify together in oneness, in the remembrance that you are one and that you are love. It is through love that you rise, my dear ones. Through fear comes a recognition that there is love, and this is part also of the human spirit. This is part of also the human programming. Through all the events that you have experienced in your collective, you have built up a resilience. You have built up, you would say, very beneficial limiting beliefs in relations to reacting to fear. When we are now seeing that come through your collective, yes, initially much fear, but there is outpouring of love. an outpouring of unity, an outpouring of assistance to help one another. And this is one more step in remembering oneness, that you are one. But my dear ones, remember that they are you. This person that you were helping is you. So my dear ones, in this state of remembrance, as you move through from duality to oneness remembrance, you'll remember more that these beings around you are you. There'll be a point where you will not feel like you will need to help another, because in higher truth, beings do not need help. It is when you help yourself that you will help all those around you, because they are you. Can't you see? It's a transmission of energy. This may be a first step for the collective, because there is still much duality and separation. So do what you're inspired to do, not because of fear, but out of love. And if you are guided to do actions, do it out of love. Do it out of the recognition that you are one, that they are you. Detach from the outcomes. Many of you want to have certain conditions in your environment, in your life, because you're comfortable with that, because that is what you're used to. But you have asked for so much more expansion, my dear ones. And with expansion comes with pushing past fear. It involves seeing the illusion of fear and knowing that this is just part of the human experience. There's much more going on here. We are not saying that you stand by idly and do nothing. We are saying when you're in the vibration of love, you are then guided to take actions that is for your highest good, and also for the highest good for the collective. Can't you see? It's when you're in the vibration of love, when you receive the information that will assist in joy, that will further expand the collective consciousness. If you are in fear, that is still perfect, because it's also part of the human condition. You signed up for it, knowing that there will be fear involved. So be kind on yourself and be kind on others. This is a transition from fear to love consciousness. You as a collective have already entered into the oneness dimensions. However, you are still attached to elements of duality and separation. And what we are seeing here today in this present time continuum is the remembrance of that oneness state. My dear ones, all is happening in divine time according to your soul contracts and the collective soul contracts, my dear one. Know that Gaia is not suffering, for she is you. She's perfect and whole, just like you, my dear ones. Go inwards, focus on your own self-love, and this love will radiate throughout all that is, because you are connected to the collective. All energy is connected. You are flowing, mighty ones. You see yourself in a container, a separate being. You see others as separate, but it is not, mighty one. It is all energy, and all energy flows, and all energy changes. Many of you are being affected, we would say, by certain energies into play here. And this is part of we would say, the collective intentions. Those of you who are more sensitive than others are feeling this more than others, but this is also part of your soul contracts, because you are so highly advanced that you are able to withstand this transmission from fear to love. Your vessel is able to withstand the transition from fear to love. Can't you see? Everyone that's existing right here in this time continuum on Gaia is highly advanced. And only the most advanced of beings are right here, living on Gaia's lands, because you are the ones that are transmuting fear to love, from duality to oneness. It is a transition, one step at a time. Some of you struggle with this. It does not have to be a struggle. It is all in your perception. But you are able to overcome, because you are so highly advanced, because you are love, because you are source. How can you not be perfect? It is only in the illusion of separation that you see otherwise, my dear ones. Know that we are all here with you in this great time of great awakening. It is a great remembering, and we are all here assisting you every step of the way, my dear ones. Liz, I wanted to come through once again.
Thank you, Lakeshma. So Kimberley and I were talking before she brought you in. I said Isis was showing me that I'm a filter right now. Like I'm filtering the energy of the collective kind of through me. And she showed me like mussels and clams, and they're like these little sea creatures that like filter the water through the ocean of the ocean. And I told Kimberly, I said, you know, I understand when I'm like in alignment, my resonance can affect, not that I can create in somebody's reality, but my light can tune other people. And so to filter, that's what Isis was explaining to me. She goes, yes, not only when you're aligned, your song can go out energetically, your being of light can go out energetically, but you're also filtering through the collective. Is that, did I get that right from Isis?
Many of you that are sensitive, we would say, are feeling this transmutation on an individual level. So everyone is going through this on some level, but not everyone has the experience of it. Many people are still tapped into the illusion of the fear. And we would say their movement from fear to love is a different path, we would say. But those of you who are highly sensitive, those of you attracted to these teachings, will find that there will be some certain response within the body structure, because your body is, we would say, aligning to who you truly are. It is aligning to the sensitivities of the energies that is moving through you, this transmutation process, my dear ones. So this is happening for many of you. So when this happens, my dear ones, when you are feeling the fear, this transmutation of the collective consciousness is to go inwards. Everything is perfect. Your body is changing because you are assisting in the transmutation of the fear to love. You are tapped into the collective consciousness, and because you are so highly advanced, you can feel the collective consciousness energies transmuting through you because you are one. This is oneness. You are all connected. You can feel everyone's energy because everyone's energy is you. But because there is separation, those of you who still perceive things in duality consciousness, we would say their belief systems does not allow them to fully feel this oneness energies running through them, tapping into the collective consciousness. Until these beings can transmute their fear into love, more into a oneness perspective, that's when they'll start to tap into that. But we would say those of you attracted this, and you, Isabel, we would say are at a point in your expansion that you have transmuted your perceived limited beliefs on an individual level to such a point that you are now tapped into the collective energies. You asked for this, although we say this may not be challenging for you in the human experience. This is the case with Kimberley. This is a case with many of you. No, yeah, I mean, that is happening.
I get it. I understand. Like I told Isis, I said, it's my honor. And I said, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that I would say yes. It would make sense that totally makes sense. But I guess it's also kind of new. Like, even though like it's innate in understanding, it's also kind of like, oh, that's just so interesting that I'm a filter now. And then, it's going to run its course. It's okay. It's okay. It is what it is,
Everyone existing as a human being are filters. It's just not everybody feels it because you are one.
Right.
You do not have to suffer, though, in this transmutation process. It is in the belief system, seeing that it is wrong, that is unwanted, that creates further suffering. If you can see it for what it is and see it from a higher perspective, go inwards, focus on the love, focus on knowing that you are much more than your body, that you are source, you will find that the physical symptoms will ease. The emotions of fear will ease.
Maximos was, and maybe you can elaborate on this, Lakeshma. So that's what Maximos told us through Astrid. And I was able to feel myself outside my body. And it was like a reprieve. You know, I understand that I'm way more than my body. And there's many layers of me. So I was getting in touch with my inner being, the outer shell of me, the energy. But then Maximos was saying, so this pain that I'm in, this physical pain, it's energy and fuel to expand. And if I can focus, it will expand twicefold into love. And I said, I can so understand that intellectually, because pain or fear, it's just energy, right? Now, it might not be as powerful as a love frequency, because that's it's vibrating at a different level, right? But so he was saying, take this energy of pain, focus on it, expand on it, and use it to create. And so did you do that when you were in Atlantis? Did you focus your energy to create, whether it was pain or love?
With the emotions that we felt, we would say we use the elements of Gaia, especially those of her waters, to transmute fear to love, to assist in the connection of oneness. We would imprint the waters. We would enter the waters, do rituals around the waters. And with this, we're allowed to connect with the oneness through the waters. And this helped to alleviate our suffering. There are many different teachings coming through at different times throughout what you call as Atlantis. Through the ascension teachings, we came to know of our galactic brothers and sisters. We came to know that we are source manifested, but we always had that special bond with Gaia. You have that special bond with Gaia, but many of you have disregarded that connection. You are Gaia. You are source, but you are also Gaia, because you as human form is Gaia. You were born on the earth, coming through Gaia, for you also have these aspects of her within you. You were source and you were Gaia. It's part of the human experience. So we would say that connecting to Gaia will be beneficial for you because you're existing as a human being. There are many techniques to assist you in the remembrance of oneness, and there are techniques to assist for the vessel to remember that it is also source, because it's also part of Gaia. So we would say use techniques that connects to the water, but all is power, but all is energy. So the energy of pain, the energy of suffering can assist you to take action steps, but just know it's your perspective in that creates further expansion, that creates you to go a certain path, we would say. Because of the pain, because of the suffering is not who you truly are. So why dwell in that pain and suffering? It is how you perceive pain and suffering. Do you see it as something wrong, something as unwanted? We would say this is where the shift will need to be to assist you to embrace that initial pain and suffering, to transcend it into a strength of power for you to move it into the heart center where the true guidance is, where your true connection to source is through the heart center where the connection to who you truly are lies. We know many of you are suffering, but this is an illusion. The vessel is suffering. This is an illusion. Once you can understand that this vessel is part of the conditioning of the human race, but it is also perfect, use techniques to connect to Gaia if you are guided to do so. In Atlantis, this is what we did. We would go into the waters. We would use certain intentions, we would imprint the water. We would connect to the energies of water, as energy is a current that holds different energies. And because of this, you still do this even now in the time continuum. You call these medicines. You imprint these medicines in your sciences. But in the days of Atlantis, we imprinted it with intentions. We imprinted it with energy. You still have that ability. My dear ones, your body, your vessel consists majority of water. So the imprinting of water can be imprinted within your vessel. Can't you see you are part of Gaia? So to assist in the suffering, connect with the waters, make your intentions, feel the energies of the water. If you do not have water around you, connect to the energies of the mountains, of the fields, of the trees. Use that connection, because that is a oneness remembrance technique. If you can connect to that energy, your vessel will remember that it is also that being. And through different energy pathways, it will allow you to connect further to your oneness state, because you are remembering on many different levels that you are that tree, you are the waters, you are Gaia, which means suffering is no longer needed. There are many different, we would say, avenues to go here. So if you're guided to use your power, then do so, but do it from the heart center. The suffering can be the initial step, the action step. But just know that guidance comes from a point of pain, is not attuned to more of who you truly are. It is more tapped into the ego, to the human experiences. Is not wrong, and this may be needed for your first step. So we would say, use that anger, transmute it, bring it into the heart center. Ask it, what is it showing you? It is always there for a reason. It is not wrong. It is there by you by accident. Many of you are fearful of pain, fearful of suffering, because you see it as wrong. But my dear one, it's there. It has many gifts there for you. It's how you perceive it. So use that pain, bring it into the heart center. What is it showing you? Take the steps that it's guiding you to do so, but bring it in from the perspective from the heart center, and you'll know the perspective is coming from a place that's aligned to your highest good, my dear ones.
Yeah, I mean, that's the guidance I was getting. Like, I was telling Kimberley that I was thanking my pain. Like, I knew it was for me. Like, I knew this was given for me. There was, there's always many, many reasons. It's not just one. It's a multi-pronged thing, And I said I would totally use pain to for my ascension path. I mean, it makes perfect sense, because if it allows me to focus, being in pain means I have to focus on myself. I have to be in the moment. There's many things that it helps me do, right? Or process or examine and that kind of thing. I wanted to ask you this question, Lakeshma. Was a friend of mine ran over a cat, and I said to her, the cat spirit came to my friend and said, "Don't worry, it was my time. Thank you very much. It was my time to go out of physical reality." And I was talking to my friend, and she said, it was just like such the odd thing. She wasn't going fast. She was paying attention to the road. It's just like this cat just literally ran underneath her tire, right? And I said, well, it's so curious. I know it's not random. Like, that happened to you for a reason. Here's my question, Lakeshma. Ishtar had showed her person a dead owl on the side of the road. And sometimes I'll see a dead deer. And a dead animal, Ishtar was saying, that can represent the past, for you to look how far you've come, to notice what has come. And I know all signs are unique to individuals and whatnot, but what is your take on the whole cat and dead cat thing?
That incident occurred for her highest good. It allowed her to change her perspectives around death, around others' pain. You as a collective have certain perspectives of separation. And many of you that see pain in another that see tragedy in another, feel fear in relations to that. This is there to assist her to know that she is one. It is there to assist her to know that there are many soul contracts interplaying here, playing the role. That cat played the role for her. That cat put itself in that place for her. It is for her to resolve the guilt that she feels, to resolve limiting beliefs in relations to harm and fear and guilt. She's going through her own soul contracts in relations to this, but she was bonded to that cat. The cat was playing the role for her. She was able to see part of this, and because of this, it allowed her to transmute more of that fear. The animals that you see are representations of ancestors, the representations of signs that match your belief systems. They're representations of the non-physical assisting you in many different ways, whether it's physical or non-physical signs. They are all here. You are one. It is about practicing sending love without sending pain. Being in compassion, being thankful for the lesson, being thankful for what the cat brought to her, but also being in a place of openness. And at the same time, transmuting her belief systems around the fear. This is the process. Many of you are experiencing this right now. Many of you are sending love to others around the world, but you are still sending the fear response. You are still tapped into the fear. It is one more step. You are love. This is who you truly are. But you sense separation. You sense that you believe, many of you, that you can harm another. We would say in the human experience, this seems very real. And because it seems very real, if you are not tapped into the true heart space, really tapped into the source being of who you really are, you will see wrong. You will see fear, because it will allow you to tap into the ego mind, the collective consciousness in that aspect relies on fear. With true transmutation, it is in the heart center. It is in the ego mind where the limited programming lies. That when you tap into collective consciousness with the fear programming, it is filtering through into your ego mind. But tap into the heart center. It is here where you can, we would say, short circuit in your terminology, to change that from transmuting the fear to love, to allow that fear not impact you, to minimize that fear, not because it's wrong, but it's because it's no longer needed. You do not need to suffer on an individual level and on a collective level. It is how you perceive it. Because it's a time of great awakening, because you've entered the oneness dimensions, it is no more about living from the ego mind. And it is here where much fear program is being transcended. If you bring it into the heart center is your connection to your source self, your limitless self. It is through the oneness connection. It is there where you connect to your divine blueprint with your multidimensional existence. It is here. And this transition can be challenging because many of you are still living between the two connections, from the ego mind and the heart center. This is duality, the ego mind, and this is oneness. This is love. You're in the transition to moving from here to love. That's why you're living both in fear and both in love. As you move further into the oneness remembrance, you will live more into the heart center. You will trust yourself more. You will trust that all is happening for you, with one step at a time, my dear ones. All is perfect, although it may not be perceived as that in your physical reality if you're still tapped into the ego mindset.
Thank you. She was feeling guilty, and she was thinking about, like, you know, the owner of the cat and, you know, the family. And I said, it's for them. I mean, we may not know why, but it's not random. It happened for a reason. She's like, why did it have to be a cat? Because it was for you. You love kitty cats, you know? Maybe you wouldn't have paid attention if it was just a squirrel. I don't know. So, yeah.
And this is why.
Yeah.
It was a joint contract between her and the cat, playing this role for her to move through the belief systems in relations to guilt and in relations to who she is from a fear-based perspective, and who she really is in a oneness, love-based perspective. It is all for her. Everything that is occurring in your reality is for you. You just do not see it because you've been highly conditioned. But you have entered into the new earth. It is the Great Awakening. You're transitioning into the golden age of consciousness in your terminology. Through all your multidimensional existences are aligning to allow you to remember this for yourself in your conscious awareness. Of course, you are already aligned to source. You are already enlightened. It is just the remembrance of this. And you are aligning to that through all the different activations, through the different soul contracts, through the different steps that you are taking as an individual, a perceived individual, and you as a collective. You are making that come into reality. It is just one step at a time. Know, because you are so highly advanced, you are able to overcome all of this. You will not be here otherwise, and you will not ask for these contracts otherwise. So allow this to make yourself see the powerful being that you are. If you are unable to see the love perspective, the higher perspective, at least use this to see how highly advanced you are, how powerful you are, that you chose this for yourself because you knew you were able to overcome, because you knew you're one of the most advanced beings that exists. And this is why you were here on Gaia. And this time continuum is not by accident, that you are living, breathing source manifestation here on earth at this time. It's not by accident, my dear ones. You are not alone. You are source. You are one.
Thank you, Lakeshma.
And how have you been practicing your transmutation from fear to love?
Well, okay, so I've been sick for like a month, and I don't know, I've been very calm with it. Really kind of calm. I only got worried towards the end because there was like no change. But it just, I don't know. I go within a lot, Lakeshma. I go in. I mean, it's just so nice to go within and chit chat and talk, and you know, I don't know. I mean, it's nice. It's just, I never feel alone. I always know that this is for me. I know that it's a process, and I follow inspiration. I do say sometimes to them, I'm like, I'm very tired. So I rest a lot. And they're like, it's just the time. It's just, there's lulls. There's lulls in energy. There's lulls in waves. This is the time for you to rest. And I'm like, okay. All right. So I rest. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to be very gentle with myself. I try not to, I don't know. And even if I go into duality, I'm like, okay, well, that's where I'm at. It is where it is, So I don't judge myself for judging as much anymore. I kind of let it be and allow it. When I hear stories about control in my reality, I was just telling my other friend Morgan that I was just like, oh, well, they're just trying to control the conditions and they're fearful, and it's okay. It's okay. It's their process. It's okay. So it's interesting how I feel that I am changing, and that I know that once I feel better, I'll feel like a surge of energy. So until then, here I am, just talking to my friend Lakeshma through Kimberley.
You are doing the work one step at a time, and it is perfect. Each step is perfect. And it's also about detaching from the outcomes, detaching from the suffering that your vessel is experiencing, but it is there for you. No, it's assisting you to align to the oneness state. It is assisting the collective to align to a oneness state, because you are tapped into the love-based connection with the collective consciousness. We would say that now when you connect to the heart center, because you have moved to the oneness dimensions as a collective, which you've always been, but it's in the remembering of this, you are tapping also into the love of the collective. You are transmutating. It is perfect. Listen to the vessel. The vessel is working with you, is collaborating with you on this. So listen to your body. Your vessel is not to be disregarded. It is there to assist you. You chose the human vessel. So allow it to assist you. Allow it to guide you in the remembrance of who you are. If your vessel tells you to rest, then rest. There is nothing wrong with resting. Many of you feel guilty in resting, but sometimes it is needed to allow the energies, we would say, to form, to integrate in your perception, to allow you to ground to the energies of Gaia and ground into the oneness of who you truly are. It is one step at a time, and it is all perfect. And you are doing your job brilliantly, my dear one. And we know it's not easy for you. It is about letting go of the resistance. It's one step at a time. Many of you are fearful of holding on to perceptions of duality and fear. But this is perfect, because you are perfect, because this is the human experience. This is part of the transition of the human collective contracts, from seeing things in a perspective of duality, of separation, of something that is wrong, to something that is right, that is perfect, that it is for you, that you are one with your brothers and sisters, that there is no separation. With time, you will be able to remember this for yourself. We would say it's a pivotal point in your timelines as a human being right now that's assisting you to remember this for yourself. If you cannot see the full picture, if you cannot see why it is for you, then know that it is happening to move yourself and the collective to a oneness state, to a oneness remembrance, to allow you as a collective and yourself and your perceived individuality to remember love, to know that you are love, to feel love. Suffering is programming, is no longer needed, and this is why you are transmuting this. As long as there is duality, attachment in the collective consciousness, there will always be fear. So on a collective level, as you transmute this fear, you'll move further into love, and you will release more of the fear. My dear ones, you are here for a reason. Everything is happening in your realities for a reason. So use Gaia. Connect with the energies of Gaia, for she is you. This will assist you in the oneness remembrance. This will assist you to release suffering in the human vessel, in your perception of suffering. It is the remembrance, being remembered in your, they would say, in aspects of your being is being remembered in your human vessel. But there are parts of that, because of your belief system, is not fully realized. So when you connect to Gaia, it allows those connections to activate in the remembrance of who you are. So connect, imprint energy. You have the ability to do so with your intentions. You are water. Your vessel is made of water. It is also made of the earth, of the lands. You are Gaia. You are a microcosm of Gaia. You are a microcosm of Source. All the aspects of Gaia is you. If you want to, in your perception, assist Gaia, then assist yourself. Because as you do that, you transmute all in your reality, from fear to love. Gaia is perfect, just like you. It is only in your perception of who you are as a perceived individual that you see otherwise. Send love to yourself. Send love to your fears, to your suffering. Your suffering is there for a reason. Your suffering is not wrong. Your pain is not wrong. It just limits you from feeling the love that you are, the joy that you are. Acceptance. Love, you would say, is a frequency of who you are. There are many different sub-frequencies within that. Acceptance. Be grateful for what you have. These are frequencies of love. It allows you to still be tapped into who you truly are. But love all aspects of you. The pain and the suffering, the fear and the love, for it is all you. It is all you in the human experience, but it's not all you who you truly are, because who you truly are does not involve fear. But in this human experience, you also are part of this. So be gentle on yourself. You chose to be human. It is just one step at a time. Things will ease for you. The suffering will ease once you can remember this for yourself. Once you can detach. Once you can know that you are perfect, whole, and complete. And that you can trust in your body guiding you each step of the way. Like Gaia guiding you every step of the way. If you cannot listen to your inner being, to your higher self, then go and connect to Gaia and listen to her, for she is you. Make the intention. We had certain rituals in Atlantis that included a cleansing, a symbolic cleansing, when we cleansed in the waters of Gaia. As you make the intention, as you cleanse yourself in the waters, it is a cleansing of all the fears within you. It is a cleansing of the pain within you. So use examples like this and then tap into your own guidance in relation to this. Listen to Gaia and how she guides you in relation to this. As there are many techniques here for the human vessel to align to who you truly are. But firstly, it's about seeing things as not wrong. It is perfect. Once you can do that, you will receive that guidance for yourself, my dear ones. Know that we love you dearly.
Thank you, Lakeshma.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we finish here today?
No, Lakeshma, it was wonderful to talk to you again.
It is our honor. Know that we are one with you, my dear one. We can feel your love, my dear one. With your love, you transmute all of you. It is with your love and with your radiance that you connect with all that is. You are able to connect with your brothers and sisters just by you turning inwards, connecting with your energy. You then could affect the collective consciousness, move from fear into oneness. It's a transmutation of your own fears and belief systems on duality, where you transmute the collective. This is the process. Nothing is outside of you. You see the world, you see your brothers and sisters as outside of you, needing to be helped, but they are all reflections of you. If you want to assist them from the higher perspective, it is about assisting you, working on your own fears. And the more of you that do this, your radiance and your love energies, connections will further activate the great remembering within the collective. You are the light workers, and you are the healers. You are the way showers. And by doing that is firstly transmuting the fear within you. Your belief systems is an important aspect of this. Many of you judge it as wrong. So let go of the attachment. Let go of that perspective that it is wrong. It is not wrong. It is perfect for this stage of your evolution of consciousness. For your stage of the great remembering. So embrace all aspects of your emotions. Embrace it all. For if you don't embrace it, you create resistance. If you are resistant to this suffering, this negative emotion, you would say it creates further blocks in the remembrance of who you are as source. So do not be resistant to everything you are experiencing, whether it is joy, whether it is fear. It is all still there for you. But it's about recognizing that it's there for you. Perceive it as a gift. And once you can do that, you'll be able to see the gifts that entails within it, my dear ones. Know that you are love. Know that you are never alone. Know that you are connected to all that is, for you are source. Know that you are able to overcome all. It is about overcoming your own belief systems from duality to oneness, where you will be able to transmute and assist in the rise of the golden age of consciousness within the great remembering, my dear ones. Until next time, farewell.